It's Nerding Out with The Wait is Over. And it's Nerding Out with The Wait is Over.
Heyo.
And I'm back, and we are calling the special episodes Nerding Out segments. I was just talking to Benji, a.k.a. The Wait is Over, about this because I was thinking it's been, you can't really have 30-some special episodes and they, still be special. So let's just call it what it is, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't just hop from one thing to the other. It's like special episode talking about something else.
Yeah.
Start fresh.
Yeah. So, I mean, Christmas specials, those things work. But so I figured let's just rename the series and go with it, because last time we talked was serious nerd out session for sure. And we had talked last night, and what we wanted to talk about was, well, we kind of said, we got to save it for tomorrow. Save it for the podcast, because it's so easy just to start digging into everything. But there's a lot of stuff that's kind of you've been batting around or talking about with like the people that about Clash, and and we wanted to talk about the early TH levels and everything like that.
Yeah, we have. So the last couple, let's see, like within the last month, I've run across a lot more Clash players that I didn't know before. Well, because we started baseball up and we hop into like preseason stuff and we start talking, and I casually bring up Clash, just like, got a war tonight, got to get those wizards ready, just to see if anybody takes the bait.
Yeah.
And a couple people will, and a couple people just look at me like, "Oh God, not you guys again." And so, but
and those people go back to playing their Candy Crush.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Exactly. That one. The first one's for you, Worm. Anyway, so I get to talk to him about it, and I hear it's like, oh, Town Hall 8, Town Hall 9. Oh, I'm Town Hall 10. You guys are below me. And you start to see, like, okay, let's see these bases. I think baseball players specialize in rush bases. It could be something we do better than baseball. It's like, it's time to upgrade that base. I've been on it for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next one.
Move to the next thing.
Exactly.
Get to beat the game. Because I think that's kind of...
That's how it works.
I think that's kind of the mentality a lot, like when you start a game, this isn't a game that you really beat. I mean... Because even if you've got maxed everything, you still can't really beat the game, because you have to be good at it.
Yeah, which is a whole nother conversation entirely. It's
right.
Not like my archer towers are better than yours, so you can shut the hell up. I know what I'm doing here. That's like, okay, let me get out of the way. Those gold walls are going to hurt somebody.
Stand back.
Oh God. We got a guy that's got like a long red beard, and I called him Goldbeard for the longest time because he's got a Town Hall like 9 or 10. I think it's a 10. Anyway, it's a 10, and he's got gold walls. I'm like, dude, your name from now on is Goldbeard. What the hell do you call me that for? It's like, you got gold walls. He's like, oh, okay, cool. So he finally gets all the pink walls. Like, oh, now you're Captain Pinkbeard. That's
nice. He's upgrading. He's upgrading.
Yeah. And it's like, I think he's done with it. It's like, those pink walls are too expensive, and I'm just sitting there going, you have no idea.
Yeah, just wait. I'm going, honestly, I think I have 9 Legos left.
Mm-hmm.
9 or 8. I've done some work, and you're way closer to me. I went to like level 10 with the purple, the level 7 walls. Yeah. And of course it was before war, but what's that?
I didn't have intentions of going past purple. I saw people with purple walls. I'm like, oh my gosh, that person's put in some serious work. Now that I'm working on Legos, I'm like, purple? What?
Shit. Why didn't I do that back at Tunnels,
Yeah, exactly. It's like, man, you just started, huh?
Yeah, and like the Town Hall 9s in the clan are just rocking it. They're like Ricky Bobby and Papa, and those guys are like, and I know I'm forgetting people, but they've been chatting about it, and they're like, oh, I'm up to 69 lavas. I'm like, I got 5 on the board, like.
I got 5. You've always got 5.
Yeah, and okay, yeah, I've been playing for a while, but still,
I'm 3 years in, and I got 5. Okay,
yeah, 5
right.
levels.
I need more time.
Yeah, just give me a little bit longer. It's just give me a little bit longer. But we were talking about it last night, and you were talking to those people, and it was a different game that they were playing, really.
Yeah, they So a lot of the guys, let's see, all right. This is what's claimed. So normally, most of the time when dealing with baseball players, what they tell you is only a fraction of the truth. And when I say a fraction, we're going to go about 30%. I'm going to be really nice about it. 30% true.
Okay.
So
imagine Kenny Powers and what he would tell you.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine Kenny Powers was talking to you about Clash, and he was really interested in his Town Hall 9 with gold walls. And so it's like, you know what? I only really play during the season, or I casually play in the off season. I'm like, okay, let's check this thing out. Oh, that's cool. And then I'm getting heckled for my walls because I'm an idiot for having, black walls and working on Legos, because clearly that's not necessary. So,
and by the way, just for everybody listening, since Benji was here the last time and we talked about his camp, I just went and looked at it the other day. Huge amount of work. I mean, I think you were like Queen level 4 or something like that, and you've got your heroes up. Your walls are rocking. You've gotten tons more like eaten attacks and in wars and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Since then,
yeah, it's that particular part of it has been interesting because let's see, like the past month and a half, I've really kind of been stressing about the baseball stuff. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm trying not to get cut from my team and and so forth. So I haven't been doing as much war, but I hop in occasionally. And so the second that I feel like I'm not able to, show up and get my attacks in, I just immediately just, opt out, because the last thing I need is, RM to chew me out on the group. And I'm doing my best just to keep my mouth shut. I'm like, you know what? He's right. But I'm just getting frustrated because life
happens. I mean,
exactly. It's like, and DP is over there just stabbing me in the back. I'm like, okay, I'll opt out. Sorry. But so I learned that there's we get so used to playing the game in a certain funnel, I guess is the way I would put it. And other people, they're doing a whole lot of farming, but with no turnover is what I've kind of gathered. They're throwing in, they got some balloons. They've thrown in a Pekka with about, 15 wizards, and they're going after an elixir. And I'm just looking, I'm like, are you high? What are you talking about? It's like, I got 200 elixir right there. I'm like, and you spent 180. Great job. Holy crap. We need to talk about this.
Because maybe it's seeing a different end game. If you follow maybe the podcast, well, probably not, but if you look at the YouTube or whatever, you see these guys, playing in this game. And then there's this other side of it where people are it's an app on their phone that they, play, and they're, I don't know if are your friends warring? Are they?
It's like a casual war. It's it comes up in conversation. Oh, by the way, we won our war today. In my head, I'm stressing out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to plan this attack out. This definitely doesn't work with Halloween. I'm screwed. My golems are not good, and I need to run golems up there. I'm panicked. I got cold sweats. He's like, oh yeah, we won our war. I'm like, what did you use? Oh, it's just 16 giants and a bunch of wizards. I'm like, oh, and how many stars did you get? Oh, I got 2. I'm like, you got 2 stars for that? Oh crap!
Benji's prematurely aged because Clash of Clans.
I'm just panicking. It's just immediate panic. It's there's no you roll that stuff out in our wars, and it's they laughed, rejected at the original the first wall. It's and here come the clan troops. Watch out for the red coats, and those wizards just put you down. And 30 seconds in, you got nothing. Great,
yeah.
Yeah,
I had my attack was that today, or was it last night? I can't remember. It was another one where I didn't want to come back from it. I was just oh god, that really hurt.
press the home button and just let that sit. I'm going to go watch Game of Thrones and I'll get back on this thing.
Yeah. Can I run this clock out a little bit more?
Just letting the last 30 seconds run off, hoping nobody's watching.
It's like at 36%. I'm like, there's no way with my 4 archers and 2 minions I'm going to take the rest of this, but I'm going to run it out no matter what.
Oh, man, I really need you guys just to soldier up here and just make this happen. Go get that 15%.
Well, I was down my king, That's my excuse, I guess. So, but you're seeing these guys and like, what were you telling me last night there? The bases,
they're very basic bases. So we have like a big square in the middle, and then but inside this so we don't have the square with with just the town hall inside. We've got a square with a whole bunch of strange things inside, like maybe a couple pumps or a research center. And I'm just like putting my hand against the wall, just taking some deep breaths, like, get through this, guys. We're going to get through this. We need to start over. Yeah, just go ahead and clear all that. Let's start over.
Yeah. Just heavy sigh.
But it works fine, like, for what a lot of people played the game for, several of the guys. Because it's not like you can play the game a wrong way.
Right,
That's what the cool thing is. It's like you can play the game and just go on there and do some looting, go get some stuff, and have the occasional war. And the base you have works. Like, I mean, if you're in mid-Town Hall 8, and, you've got, like, let's just say you've got one, AD that's at a 6, and the other 2 are, like, a 5 or a 4 or something like that. And, they're not really, like, they're running level 2 dragons against you because you're just not really pulling big Town Hall 8s. And you really kind of get away with it. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like you stare at it and it's like, oh, yeah, I'm pretty good at this game. And then you just kind of stop mid-step and you're like, okay, like, don't get crazy. Like, like we should establish the fact that you don't know how to funnel dragons or how to use, like, your clan castle and you're just dropping in another dragon when obviously we need some balloons so we can take out that last air defense. That's killing your attack.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, all right, I know you're excited, but let's not get overwhelmed with it. So, I've got my roommate who's our bullpen catcher. He's a good guy, and he's really talking me through the fact that, Benji, you don't have it worked out. Like, dragons kill everything. You just drop them, and then they burn everything down. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Boneyard Jr.
I was just gonna say that.
And so I get a good laugh out of it, but like he gets the idea, and then like we walked him kind of through like how like you would funnel dragons so they don't just take a walkabout around the outside of the base. And as soon as we like worked on that, like he's really taken off with it, and he kind of gets it, and then but explaining to him that dragons don't work, when you get higher up or you get another air defense or they give you one more like archer tower.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't register. It's like no. Dragons always work. Like, what are you talking about, Benji? Like, okay, all right, fair enough. Like, just let me know how that works out for you here in just a little bit.
Well,
so it's just a different rule of thought, like I guess, and it depends on also what kind of like clan you're in. Like, if you're with some guys that are just casually playing, it's one thing. If you're with some guys that like they've thrown up, like as soon as you throw a Town Hall 10 in there, you're gonna pull some people in war that are just going to rampage on you. That's just how I feel.
Yeah.
You don't have like a casual Town Hall 10.
Right.
It just doesn't happen. Like it's like, and one like Inferno Tower. Well, that's going to screw up all your matches. Sorry about it.
Well, even in Smallville 87, like when I was over there warring with those guys, it's all Town Hall 8s and below.
Mm-hmm.
And we would put a Town Hall 10 in, like right away. Worm was doing that. And I don't know what they're doing now, but that was so they could donate to the War CC. And Smallville's killing it, by the way, on wins. I think they were at, and I'm sorry if I'm wrong on this, I think it was like 14 wins in a row, just last time I heard. But, it's a lot of people's mini accounts and stuff. But you put that one TH10 in, and that there was always one other TH10. It was like, as far as I remember anyways, it was like, it changes everything. But, like a lot of the players that play are at that TH7, TH8 level where it's, and we briefly talked about it, like it's kind of like the proving ground, whether or not you are gonna clash, or you're gonna, well, for most people, because if I would not have had the podcast, I probably would have rushed it up, just to get the new things, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But it becomes like that really big hump at that level, I think, whether or not you're going to keep going, because even with my second account, Britney Spears, who's rocking, I've had so much fun with that ever since. But I mean, but it's a whole different game, even playing it, having done it all before. And it's not just like that there's heroes and stuff, but all of a sudden I'm going, should I just stop my upgrades and do the walls for a while? Those type of things.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd kind of talked about well, if we were a brand new player to the game and here you are, you're in the TH7, TH8 level, because at this point you're probably starting to, find other resources and things like that. What do you do?
Yeah. It's like, all right, where's the first step, right?
Yeah. Where do you go at that point? What should you be doing?
I was giving it some thought. And I really thinking it's 7 and 8. It's really the time where you decide, you're kind of forced because you have to give effort in your farming to start making the upgrades, because they start asking more of you. Now it's not a lot, it's 2.5 or 1.8 or something like that, which is not a lot to people that are not afraid of farming, or they kind of enjoy the fact just going and rampaging and bringing it back. And
Johnny Rage Cage.
Yeah, oh god, exactly.
Big shout out to Hellbringer, by the way, for that 6K Dark Elixir raid today.
Oh, so proud of him. He's one of the guys that heckled me for not getting on the game. He was sitting there going, why would you not play? Do you not like stealing from people? Do you not enjoy gold, Benji? Oh gosh, you're no pirate to me. Don't you dare.
And he burned that shit down, and I watched it today. The replay he shared, it showed up, and it was 6K Dark Elixir, and there was, I want to say there was 400K of both, and that motherfucker went right for the Dark Elixir Rage, and we had talked about it last night. We were talking about Johnny Rage Cage, and so I was watching for it, and I think he had a heal spell in there.
Oh,
but God. Then I see the 2 rages come in, and then the king rages, so it's all connected still, and he makes it in, burns out the Inferno Towers, and takes 6K Dark Elixir. So big shout out to Hellbringer.
Yeah, who needs a freeze when you've got a rage?
Yeah, it was, and he took, I think, he gave up the 400K, which good. That's what you should do. But I think he took still almost 200K of both. Yeah. So
he's I'm telling you right now, that's a good guy right there. He'll go and find the quality beer spot in the town that he's in, and he'll send me a text. I gotta tell you, the town's pretty shitty, but they've got a good watering hole. This is where you go.
Nice.
And I like to sit down, have a pitcher, and do some clashing. He's in it to win it.
Nice. And I think he's in the chat too, more than I think he is. But
I mean, he's sneaky. You got to watch your back.
I guess. Johnny.
Yeah, John.
That's such a great name. And so
oh boy,
where were
sorry.
we? I can't. Sorry,
I
interrupted you.
No, we've got I was thinking 7 and 8 are more of kind of the places where it's it's necessary to be an active farmer outside of war to make the upgrades, because you're just not you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
3 or 4 days of just collecting. like you would in like the lower town halls. So it kind of forces you to play a little bit more. So when you decide like, oh, like I really would like to make the upgrades, like what things do I upgrade now? Because you know, you put in some effort and it's important to you. All of a sudden it's like, well, these things need to be upgraded so that people don't take my stuff. So I think like when you have 7 and 8 and you've got a bunch of, you know, air attacks and dragon, and when people are just used to being able to run dragons out there, when you hop on 8, I think it's almost imperative. Like it's absolutely necessary for war and for raiding to get like air defenses up, maxed out to 6 as fast as you can.
Yes.
To me, because like that's like the standard attack. It's like Town Hall 8. I'm gonna run these level 3 dragons at you. Suck it.
Yeah. And and this is like the big thing too, because now that she's an 8, she's, you know, trying the upgrades, and this was one of the things that I was kind of thinking about, because and I think there's, what it reminds me of is that there's kind of 2 different types of players. Then is that if you're that casual warrior, you know, or if you want to like take your game, you know, to a war clan, you know, that type of stuff. Where if you really want a war, you know, where do you go? Or if you just want to play, where do you go? And so like with Brittany, God, see, it's so much more fun to talk about it that way. Like, you know, at Town Hall 8, you've got the drag attack, you've got drag attack at 7 if you're doing wars, and you've got the hog attack at 8, and now like the go wipe. But then there's spells that get mixed in there too. You know, so it's like there's a lot of choices. So I was like, yeah, okay, Brittany, she's gonna start working on the hogs, you know, and I started doing that, and I'm like, wait, I don't have my heals up, you know, all the way maxed yet. I don't have my rages all the way maxed. So there's a lot of like decisions to be made. Yeah. You know, at that point, to kind of cover a lot of bases. True.
I mean, when you try to decide like which one makes you more happy to do, like Town Hall 7. I mean, it's in Town Hall 7. If you're not dropping dragons, I don't know what you're doing. Yeah. You know, like if you're like I would like to do some war stuff. I like getting the extra loot, and you know the rush of attacking in war is way the payoff is way more, and failing an attack in a war is way more than just like going through and trying to get some loot and sucking and dropping an attack. Because nobody sees that. Yeah, everybody sees you fail in war.
It's like, okay, I'm gonna put this down and walk away for a little bit, because
you know what? I don't like my phone anyway. I've been on it too much. I don't need it.
Yep. I quit. Yeah.
Sure. It's like, yeah. So like in Town Hall 7, I really think like gosh, with the freaking air blower. I think that matters some, but not so much at Town Hall 7. Town Hall 8, I think it really causes some problems because dragons were running just rampaging on the shop, just getting through everything until you get to, max archer towers and max air defense. Then it started to be like, okay, you really kind of have to plan where you're going to funnel it at and where you're going to drop your balloons. But before that, it's easy. And you think like, oh, I love this game. It's so easy. I can get 3 stars every single time, which is only, it's just leading you on. It's like, oh, don't worry. You're so good at this. Oh, you suck. Yeah. It's like 1 star. I'm like, oh my gosh, why does this hurt so bad?
And it's horrible. It's a horrible feeling to like walk away from. Oh, it's so and like you see like by the way, not every YouTuber, everybody is perfect. TH8 is not easy, especially, and I think what's happening is that leaf blower, the air sweeper, for people not in the know. I think that decreased, or that the more hit points on that are hurting hog attacks. I think you're seeing it as I predicted in a lot of places. Like it's a whole different beast. I mean, really. Because it's like people who could go in and just hog a TH9 really well are all of a sudden walking away like what the hell happened on that? Or a TH8. And it's like, what? So that's kind of changing things. And that's what's kind of cool about the game. And like, if you're listening now, like, the game will be different 3 months from now.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. How were we talking about last night? Like, if you go back, it's almost not, you go back to listen to podcasts for enjoyment. You don't go back to get information. If you're listening to a podcast 6 months from now, bad idea. Don't hold the information. Yeah. Not a good idea.
Yeah, because the information we had given way back in the day, that's when heroes were untethered. There's like so much stuff. So we were kind of talking about like, well, if we're at that point, in the game, a TH7 or a TH8, at this point, what would you do? Like, would you go for walls, Benji? So you're a TH7, or you're a brand new TH7 or a brand new TH8. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of this talk about, and granted, it is very valid, but not everybody is a war person. So, like, not upgrading your defenses, doing the walls. What would you tell people to do?
Ooh, okay. So with defenses or without defenses?
Like a normal TH7 or 8. Okay. Would you say? Because like in the war matchups, like everybody's talking about the weight of going up. Like hurting the matchups. What would you be focusing on if you are? I don't even want to say if you're a casual player, but like we're saying, like if it's the hump in the game.
Yeah. So if you're with a clan, let's say you war once a week. Let's say you war once a week, and that's how this is how I would put it. That's a pretty casual player. Once a week, like everybody hates Mondays, so we'll start the preparation day on Sunday, and on Monday we'll have something to do so we can get through the day.
Or I go to Global on Monday and look for a new
Yeah. So with that, I think that I would say 100% go for the defenses and the things that make you happy, like whatever excites you to upgrade. If you're in a clan that's warring pretty regularly and you're a new Town Hall 8 and you hop in a clan, it's like, listen, we war, we'll go 3 times a week or nonstop, which, it's pretty much 3 times a week. It's like 3.5, as it rotates. So, that you really if you hopping into Town Hall 8, you got to be careful. Like as soon as you get there, you have to just kind of stop with all of your defenses and just go, we need to get dragons to level 3, and we need to get our rages maxed out, and we need to make sure that our CC is upgraded so that you can get those extra 5 spaces. Because with war, it's all about pulling somebody weak and having enough troops to attack somebody stronger than you.
Right.
And so it kind of flip flops the way you do it. But if you're warring once a week, I think it's okay if you just kind of indulge in the fact it's like, oh man, I would just love to get those sweet new mortars. Go for it. Chances are you're not going to just pull something that's just outrageous for you just based off of the fact that, you're going to pull somebody casual to war against. And that's fine. That's okay. And, you get some 2 stars. Let's say you get 4 stars or 5 stars in a war. That's probably going to be enough to win some wars, and everybody goes home happy, and you give the other clan the finger and you move on. You know what I mean? Chances are it's probably some Chinese clan that you can't even read the name or send them something. The way it's going lately. So, and
I would say also like if you think about if you are even interested in keeping playing the game, at that point you should always upgrade your clan castle, and not only is it. And if you're in a clan where it sits for, I don't know, I can't imagine
what was that one that we had a war against, and there was like sitting open for like 26 hours?
Yeah, yeah.
That's terrible. That would suck.
And see, that is like the most valuable spy info. Like, I don't care about the debate because
I don't care. I'm unaffiliated. I enjoy it. So if you don't like spying, then don't let people in your clan.
Yeah, we're not.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, we're not enforcing it. It doesn't matter. We don't really care about it. I think the most interesting thing about spying really is that you hear about that stuff. Oh, they're not a very active clan. Okay, that tells us something. That's it's more about the offensive side of it, really, to me. Like, okay, if something's sitting there not filled for 24 hours, I'm going, okay, well, we might have a little bit of leeway on this. Or, okay, we could maybe aim a little bit higher on where we're attacking or what we think. So, yeah.
Yeah. Two things. If you find out it's not a very active clan, two things for me is one, chances are that they're not going to get near all their attacks in. I would assume maybe half or about 60%. The other thing is, do not be surprised if the clan castles are not full with quality troops. Chances are they probably have a whole bunch of, level 5 archers in there, and it's not even packed out. They probably got, 17 of them, some weird number. Sitting there, it's like they come rolling out. It's like, that's it? I spent all these spaces on a lure, and you bring out 7 archers? Like, this was worthless.
Yeah. And that doesn't really quite happen very often in House of L. But even in when it's not active, that's a great point. Like, you can start to anticipate maybe what would be in the CC. Because it's not like we're getting the CC picks. You know what I mean? Like, it's the day before, and it's not the day of, usually, of the war. So, but you start to get the mentality of another clan, basically.
Right.
So, I think it's like inference, and that's the part I like,
True.
Right, you don't mind. So, everybody else?
Yeah.
Too bad.
Yeah, everybody. Sorry.
But I don't care.
I apologize for saying things that are not going to make certain people happy. So, but anyway, so we, so if you're a casual, I can't even pretend like I'm going to walk this off. I'm going to be okay. So if you're a casual player, I think it's okay if you just dabble in some stuff that makes you happy. I think that's the way that's the reason the game was meant to be played.
Keep it going. Keep it moving forward.
Yeah, do some stuff that makes you happy, because nothing. I mean, when you get the next, if you get to Town Hall 8 and you get a bunch of elixir stacked up, and you want to go for those level 5 wizards that shoot lightning, and those things make a big jump in level 5. They really do. Probably the biggest jump like across the board, percentage wise, and they are really effective with the lightning and the damage they're laying on things. Shoot, go get them. Like, that, go do that.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't sit there and go, you're foolish for getting so-and-so. I'm like, if you're a casual player, like, you enjoy playing the game, but you're like, I don't want to plan my week around wars.
Right.
Then go get troops. Like, for me, like, I spend gems on troops, like, so that I don't want to wait for them. It's like, I'm so excited about, like, level 6 giants, like, and I just got them today. And I got to tell you, they make me so happy. But those are things, like, I'm sitting there, like, you know what? Like, I want to spend gems on that because I don't want to wait. But, like, it's do what makes you happy along the lines of that. If you're a casual player, that's fine. Like, there's no right and wrong way to play the game. Do what makes you happy. Upgrade things that make you happy. But if you're in a war clan and they're very specific about the hit points that you have on the board and what that pulls into a war, then you should, like, there are things to think about like that. Like, it's like, maybe we should stop building, just upgrading all of these defenses. If you can't attack your own base, it's probably not ideal just to hop right in and opt into a war, because, you're going to be overmatched if you just look straight across. If you're 16 out of 35, you look at another 16 and you're just like, no chance, boys. I got maybe 1 star out of 2 attacks.
Well, yeah, and I think also with that too is that think about, like, the clans you might be in. Like, I wouldn't, like, hold myself back, but I like that idea of do what makes you happy, because it can be really unexciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if I have one cannon, like sweet. Like, okay, it turned, like, it got the third ring, the third gold ring. Like, that's not near as fun as, upgrading a troop or getting the fully purple wizard tower. Like, the fully purple wizard tower was like my claim to fame. Like, as soon as I got the first, I just like stopped, like raised my hands and like, I have arrived.
Yep.
Like, you guys please come attack me from the north. Good luck.
Well, and I think too, like, it's like the farming troops. Like, I would upgrade, honestly, first and foremost, what you use to farm. And I think it's especially true now with the king and the queen, because if you do the barbs and archers, when you hit their ability levels, so like, Brittany's got a level 8, King's going to level 8. Right now, and he's going to summon the highest amount of barb troops, whatever level they're at, right. So it's like, if you use those, like the cheapest troops, and you have a really cool farming thing, remember to, bring that up. But like, if you use those troops, upgrade those first, because you're going to be farming with them besides those 2 war attacks, Right. Mm-hmm. And you're going to be taking in enough from that to do everything else.
It's the troop you use the most, so why would you not give it some love?
Right. Exactly.
Oh, yeah. So, who doesn't want the barbarians with the horns pointed down? Like, I got excited about God. That. I still don't have like the level 6 like archers, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, come on, Benji, what are we doing? I know we're getting Lava Hound level 2, but come on, let's get the archers.
That's a TH9 problem, because at that point you're going, all right, I need this for war based on what I'm doing, and I did that with my main account. Is I was like, okay, at this point I held off on archers and barbs, because I wasn't using them to farm. Maybe the king would rage in, but like in the war attacks, I wasn't using barbs and archers, so I was like, well, I'll wait for them till later. But,
right.
But I can farm a lot more with them. But things always, like I said, things always change. But so sometimes it makes more sense. So when you get to that level in the game, it's like, well, more of my focus is on what I can do in war. I could have been upgrading my king instead of my golem.
Right.
But I didn't.
But I didn't.
Yeah.
Because
yeah. And I don't think that's a bad idea, because now it's like I have the max troops. I don't, I have the low hero excuse, but you know what I mean? Like, yeah. But it's like, okay, well, I have the max troops to go up against the bases I need, or what I want to do, and so I don't regret like doing a golem over a barb, or a P.E.K.K.A. over a. Even though I don't use the P.E.K.K.A.s that much, I still think the Velks are way undervalued.
Oh yeah, not even close. When you drop a whole bunch of gingers in one area and you get them in, like, I feel like they jump out to the side quicker than anything. So like, you really have to like protect against that. Like, you have to focus on the funnel for the gingers.
Yeah,
so when they get in there and you drop a rage on them, it's like, poof, goodbye inner circle. Like, there's no chance.
Yeah,
if you put them in there to defend it
with a golem, or you put them in with something else, they're going to go faster. They're fast, and so you put a rage on them, they're going to go even faster. But I watched Botox. We did that podcast war, and I watched Botox. He's a TH9, and he sent those gingers in, and I think he used 9 of them. I can't remember exactly. But the balloons came out of the CC, and they started dropping on him, and I thought, oh shit, he's done for. Those things kept going. And just destroyed it. He 3-starred, I think, after that. And we came up with new name for, because that's what we're doing. No, it's actually like a hero kill squad. You know, like if you send in instead of like a P.E.K.K.A, send in like 4 or 5. Or no, what would it be in the CC? Like 4 or not in the CC, but like 4 or 5 Velks. We started calling it the Deadly Viper Assassination Squad from like Kill Bill. The Divas.
You're right, exactly.
Yeah, and it works really well. DP was sold on that, and it works because those Velks get in there super fast. But I digress. Yeah. But that's also the same principles of, you know, if you hear about a golem attack or you hear about witch attack or you hear about giant attack and how it works, the principles are all the same. There's the tanks, you know, the people, the range damage like the archers or the wizards, you know, all those things are the same. And then the speed. So you can work it out with the different attacks. Even if you're hearing about a little bit higher level attack, you know, you can adjust for it.
Yeah, and I was getting pretty antsy because I was like, you know what? I'm about to change the game. I'm going to get on here, and you know what? I'm not going to use these golems because they're suckers. I'm going to throw in some P.E.K.K.As because they've got a whole bunch of, you know, hit points, and I'm going to use them as my meat shield, and I'm going to just throw a whole bunch of, like, wizards because I've got this all worked out in my head. And a couple of these max witches. I'm like, I don't know how anybody's thought about it, but I'm clearly the genius in the room.
Yep.
And it just epic fails in like a war attack. And I'm just sitting over there just like, I'm going to go and have a drink. I'm going to just leave my phone here. I'm just going to walk this off.
Well, I used P.E.K.K.A as a lure to take the dragon before. But I kind of think, I'm starting to think of the P.E.K.K.As as a ground dragon. They really are. I mean, they go to the nearest target.
And they just take their sweet time, too. Like, they're not in a hurry. And if you drop 2 of them together, you've wasted, like, it is a terrible attack. Because they both swing on one thing, and it only takes one of them to kill it.
Yeah, and Sasquatch said that, and I was like, oh, shit, I never realized that.
It's a Phantom P.E.K.K.A. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I see that come in. Like, perfect point. It's like still swinging because they've got a huge, massive amount of damage, but it needs to be directed right. Yeah, like drop 1,000, 2,000 drop. You know what I mean? Like allow them to separate because that's when you're going to get the most efficient attack in. But when you just like sit there and just one finger drop like 3 or 4 of them. You don't realize that the disjustice that you've done yourself because you can't you're not getting the most out of the attack. Like pretty much what's happening is it's like when you drop like a whole bunch of balloons. Like if you have 30 balloons rolling together, like getting these guys. But what you don't know is like if 2 of them drop a bomb, it's plenty enough to take out any of the defenses. But you've got 30 of them together. Like all you're doing is walking one path with way too much firepower, and you're just killing yourself. Like just giving them time to shoot down like the whole grouping. It's kind of like having 50 spiders in the room and 3 people and 3 people stepping on one spider at the exact same time.
Oh, for somebody that gets creeped out by spiders, like you've really hit home right there.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, we got that one. Why don't we spread out?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey guys, we got all this damage that we could lay on stuff. But let's just run them together. Let's see what happens. I hope they 3 P.E.K.K.As in one swing can take out one of these collectors. Good luck. Right. Yep. It's boom. Smash.
It's unfortunate. Yeah, it's unfortunate is what it is. But hey, again, casual player to aggressive war player. It's very different.
Exactly.
And it's not like it's not like, oh, please play the game the right way. It's more of just like, well, whatever your fancy is, make sure you take care of it. If you're in a war clan, things might need to change. If you're not, then run some stuff out there. Try it out. Let me know how it works out for you. I could probably tell you staring at it.
At least you'll have good stories.
Yeah, great stories. And please fill up my clan castle in the next 24 hours.
All right.
Oh, my gosh.
Let's stop right here. So,
I'm good. I'm fine. Fine.
Good. So we took a little break. We were actually talking to your roommate.
True. My roommate, who's the bullpen catcher, who has to deal with us getting ready in a hurry and just like eating balls like in the dirt and just smack him in the face mask. But it's fine. He walks it off pretty well.
I could make a lot of jokes, but I'm not going to. But he was talking about his raids, and you brought that up to me like last night about his goblin raids.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. He thought that we had a couple of discussions about the war attacks and Bidgie, why don't you use dragons, because obviously they destroy everything and there's nothing to stop them. And so when he dropped the idea of like, why aren't you using goblins, I immediately discarded it to the fact that you're a simpleton, you have no idea what you're talking about. But in further research, I decided that I had not been doing all of my proper due diligence, and he actually turned out to be correct, because the goblin raids do work because you spend less money, because they're like, I think I have level 5 goblins, level 5. Let me straighten this out for a second. Level 5 goblins, and so I normally use 4 wall breakers, 4 giants, and the rest of them goblins, which is about 192. Now, after him and I had this discussion, and if you're going for just collector and mine raids, I really think this is the best way to go, because you spend 100 on each goblin, and the reason why most people don't use them is because it takes 30 seconds, which is significantly longer than barbs or archers, but they have incredible damage.
Premature attackers.
Yeah, exactly. But they eat through these mines and pumps really quick, and you don't have to spend that much. Like, you can have 2 attacks after you fill up your army camps with 192 of these suckers, and you can run through 2 attacks with that much. And the turnover for cash and elixir to how much you spend on the attack is unreal. Like, it really is doing yourself like you're cheating yourself, but not giving it a shot, because they just burn through them and they move to the next one, burn through them, move to the next one. They move so fast. Everybody knows that goblins move fast, but like, they don't really help us that much. And if they get hit with a mortar, they're all done. Like at level 5, they can hold their own pretty well. Like level 6, I'd imagine that it's even better. But level 5, where I'm at in Town Hall 9, they really do a good job of just eating through the collectors and being done. You can just kind of sprinkle them around and get everything that you normally would with Barch, and get out and get your loot, and you're done. Like, it really is pretty helpful.
Maybe it's more about the way that they're used. Because when I was like talking to him, like he was saying he brought in the giants and the wall breakers. I'm like, well, why would you even bring in the wall breakers? But he was saying like to get to the inside too. But I'm like, if you're just going to the collectors, just let those giants tank. And that's what DP taught me, like when I did that 5 golem like raid. And we did it live on Twitch. And it was like, nope, just let it hang back longer. And that really helped me, because I'm like, well, no, I got to get my wall breakers in really fast. I'm like, and he's like, nope, just let it sit at the wall for a little bit. And so I was like trying to tell him, like, if you just, let's say you took in 6 giants and, depending on the number of collectors, but if you just put them like right, because everybody lines up their collectors, you know what I mean? Like on one side, and you just threw in 1 on each part, they go up to the wall, and then just take the shit behind them. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, and it's It's normally pretty easy. Like, if you walk upon a dead base, and you can tell, like, I normally tell by looking at the elixir and seeing if how much is in the actual collector. If it's half full, then the majority of what is the available loot is in the collectors. Like, that's how I tell.
Okay.
Now, if it's got a hole at the bottom, or if it's just covered at the bottom, it's not any good to us. But if it's like halfway full, then I know that, like, if I attack this, then I'm going to get like 80% of what is available in the loot. So,
well, and Sasquatch reminded me of this, that if you look at the amount available and the gold and the elixir are pretty much identical, then you know most of it's in the collectors.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
So if you're a TH7 or a TH8 and you go up to a base and you're like, well, I don't know what's going on, and you don't want to, maybe you're on a phone, maybe you're on an iPad, because it's hard to see on a phone. What's in those. If you can see that they're both identical, their storage is probably empty, or that everything that's there is in the storages. And Sasquatch gave me a really good idea for it. I couldn't remember, and I couldn't remember when I was talking to your roommate about this. That it was like, because you do this, the 12-hour shield gets hit, and then it gets hit again at that point. And you can only get 75% of what is in the elixir storage. In the pumps and mines. And so you can also only take up to 200,000 of what is in the storage. So if you see a 400,000 base, you know that 200,000 of it at least is in the storages. Or in the pumps and the mines.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That is big news. That's deadgummit. I've got hiccups. Yeah, I had no idea about that.
Yeah. So it's like, so if I'm sitting on like 600,000 or 6 million gold, for example, people can only take 200,000 of gold for me, and then like if I'm sitting on 600,000 elixir at the same time, they can only take 200,000 of each from me if it's in the storages. Then anything after that, it's 75% out of the pumps and mine. And so right here is where I'm going to wrap this episode up. Benji and I talked for a while longer after this. And then we also did another follow-up and just kind of talking about some of the things we missed talking about it. So you'll find that coming up very soon. So get a hold of me at Scotty827 or the podcast at WBSMT Radio on Twitter. Go to clashofclanspodcast.com and find out all the information about how to get a hold of us. And as always, keep it clashy. Oh, one last thing. There's a brand new podcast. Just entered the podcast realm of Clash of Clans. You should really check it out. You've probably heard them here on the podcast before. Natalia, Coop, Rancid, and Halligan are all doing a podcast called The Clash Files. The Clash Files. You can get it on iTunes, or you can go to their website, theclashfiles.com. Great bunch of people. I bet you're going to like it. All right. Keep it clashy, everybody. Skilly beep 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 skilly beep.